Bread, just like potato, is possibly one of the most universally used ingredients in any kitchen. Today, let's combine the magic of both potato and bread and make a crisp, golden brown, crunchy snack called bread rolls. Hey guys, this is Varun Inamdar and welcome to Rajshri Food. Well, it's a bread roll, which of course is going to require stuffing or filling. What I'm doing is making a basic potato vegetable. Really quick, really easy. The first thing that goes in oil is crushed garlic. The oil at this stage should not be hot. It just needs to be moderately hot. You need to lightly start sauteing, in a way sweating the vegetables. In this case, onions and garlic. Let it not change color, just kind of translucent, and that's about it. Like you see, the color is not at all changed. It is still the same. The only thing is the onions and garlic have turned a little translucent. I've added this to the potatoes, which are boiled and peeled and kept ready. The next thing that goes in this is of course some red chili powder, because I like things which are spicy, but of course you could adjust this the way you want. To this, I'm adding in roasted coriander powder. You could also use this in the crushed form, if you please. Let's increase the intensity of coriander. So for that, I'm using chopped fresh coriander leaves, and finally salt as required. Well, you need to add this moderately. If you've added salt while boiling the potatoes, I haven't, so I'm being a little generous at this stage. The next step is to mash this using a potato masher. The potatoes have crushed well. Let's scrape all of this and give it one final mix. And this now is kept aside. Let's move on to the next step, which is actually making the bread roll. For this, I'm using a white bread. Well, you can use any bread. You can use a brown bread, a multigrain. Well, that's a personal choice. Trim the edges. The next step is to soften the bread. For that, I'm using water. Well, at this stage, you could also use some buttermilk if you please. We need to dip this slice of bread in water and drain it completely by pressing it like this. You'll notice that the bread has become nice, soft and pliable, and that's exactly how we want it. The next step is to, of course, fill this with the potato mix. For that, I'm using a lemon-sized ball of potato and making it into a rough, elongated shape like so. You need to place this right in the center and press this like that, covering it on all sides. Let's keep this aside, and similarly, let's start making the other bread rolls. Our bread rolls are shaped and ready. Let's keep this in the fridge for precisely 15 minutes. The bread rolls have rested well. Time to dab this with just a touch of corn flour. Do not overdo this, because otherwise what would happen is the bread rolls will develop white patches. Just roll them lightly with just a touch of corn flour. And once this is done, keep these back on the plate and continue doing the same for the others. Once these are well rolled in cornstarch, the next step, of course, is to fry this in hot oil. Once the potato rolls are fried nice and golden brown in color, let's transfer these on an absorbent tissue paper. With this, your bread rolls, which are crisp and crunchy on the outside and soft within, are done and ready. Enjoy this with your family and friends, and do not forget to like and share the video and subscribe to Rajshri Food. Potatoes are an universal favorite, and with potatoes, of course, you can make zillions of recipes. Today, I'm making potato lollipops. Potato lollipop is a quick, light and a delicious snack for your parties, and also to fulfill your midday hunger pangs. On that note, let's make potato lollipops. What's required for potato lollipops are some boiled and peeled potatoes. We need to grate these. Once the potato is grated and done, let's add in a chopped onion. Along with the onions, let's also chop some green chilies. Alternately, if you're not comfortable with green chilies, you could also add in chili flakes or black pepper. Let's chop this nice and fine. And let's add this to the grated potatoes. Once this is done, let's start adding in some spices. The first one is red chili powder. This is followed by roasted cumin, which is powdered, followed by roasted and crushed coriander seeds, and along with this, chaat masala. Let's add in 2 liquid ingredients. The first one is some lemon juice, and along with this, paste of ginger and garlic. To get all of this well bound together, I'm adding in 2 ingredients. The first one is refined flour, and along with this, fresh breadcrumbs. Let's mix all of this together. Well, if you've added salt while boiling the potatoes, you need to be extremely careful while adding salt at this stage, because remember for a fact that potatoes, of course, would have the salt, and the bread also has salt. So let's taste this before adding in salt further. Well, I personally feel this recipe would require a touch of salt. Let's do that. One final mix before we head to the next step. Moving on to the next step, we need to take lemon-sized or smaller balls of potato like so and roll them lightly. The potato balls are done and ready. Let's take this to level 2 and make a slurry using refined flour, water, and just a touch of salt. Let this be nice and thick. Let's stir this well and ensure that this is lump-free. The consistency of this mixture needs to be like double cream. It should be of dropping consistency like so, not very thin, not very thick. Well, the next step is to take some fresh breadcrumbs on a plate and dip the potato balls in the slurry. Coat this well and drop it in the breadcrumbs. Need to coat this well and press this lightly. Let's keep this aside, and similarly, let's start processing the other potato balls. With this, our potato balls are crumbed and ready. These now need to be frozen for 15 minutes before frying. Well, our crumbed potato balls are well frozen. At this stage, what I'm doing is frying these directly. But if you need to store this, or if you wish to store these, what you could do is portion these and keep it in a sealed and airtight container in the freezer. And trust me, these stay perfectly well for a month. Let's fry these in hot oil on high flame, because all you need to do is get a nice and crisp golden brown exterior. Do not overcrowd the pan at this stage, because you would just end up breaking all the potato balls. Also ensure that you do not start stirring this immediately, because that would also result in breaking these. Just give that a light stir like so that the balls do not stick at the bottom of the pan, but you need to be extremely careful while doing this. Do not lower the flame at any point in time, because 2 things would happen. Either the potato balls would break in oil, or 2, they'll start absorbing in a lot of oil. So make sure. Once these turn nice and golden brown, let's transfer these on an absorbent tissue paper. And just before these go on the dinner table, one last step. The toothpicks to convert these into lollipops. Well, if I'm not imagining too far, I think in my opinion, most countries have their own peculiar spice mixes or spice blends. Well, peri peri or piri piri is one of those. Well, in Swahili, it means pepper pepper. On that note, today, let's make piri piri French fries. Let's combine the magic of French fries and peri peri. What's important in this recipe is actually the quality of chilies. What I'm using is a chili that gives you good color. For Indian parlance, I'm using Kashmiri mirch. Just snipping them like so that they kind of toast easily. Let's also increase some heat quotient and added chilies that give you heat. The chilies that I'm using now are Bedgi chilies. You need to toast them on medium to low flame. Ensure that the flame is not high because you do not want the chilies to change color or darken. While the chilies are getting toasted, let's start adding in some flavoring. The first one that goes in are coriander seeds. The next one, black peppercorns. And finally, some seeds of cumin. While this is getting toasted, let me quickly introduce you to a few ingredients which I've pre-processed and kept. The first one are leaves of basil, which I've kind of dehydrated. Now for dehydrating, if you have a dehydrator in-house, well, nothing like it. At your home kitchens, what you can alternately do is microwave this or dehydrate this in a microwave for 2 minutes. Give them 2 shots of a minute each. So here I have some leaves of basil and I have some parsley. What I also have here with me are some garlic cloves along with some red onions. Dehydrate this. This is going to take a little longer because the quotient of water or moisture is a little higher. Well, while talking to you, this is also done. Let's keep this aside so that this kind of cools down completely or comes down to room temperature. What I'm doing alternately here is I am also frying some thick home-cut fries. These are basically nothing but potato chips or potato French fries that I have cut into batons. Well, the potato chips had been steamed till they were 3/4 cooked, and now is the time when they're getting fried for one more time, or rather getting cooked for another time, and that's when you cook it till it's completely done. If you wish to make French fries at home, there's a detailed recipe that I had shared with you earlier. If you wish to watch it, there's a link in the description box below. The potato is fried and ready. Let's now move on to the spices which have relatively cooled down. Let's grind this into a fine powder, but before that, let's add in a few more spices. Well, yeah, as I'd introduced these earlier to you, let's add in dehydrated leaves of parsley. Very little, because what you want here is the flavor and essence of the leaves and not the color. With this, let's add in some dehydrated leaves of basil, followed with some cloves of dehydrated garlic. Along with this, some red onions. Finally, let's add in oregano or oregano, depending on how you pronounce it in different countries. Just a tiny piece of bay leaf. For some citrus, I'm adding in zest of lemon. Well, you can also add in zest of oranges if you please. And finally to this, some salt. Let's grind this into a fine powder or a coarse one, depending on how you like it. Well, it's a little coarse and I think that's perfect the way I like. Well, if you want, you can of course grind it finer. And now comes the last and final step, and that is actually sprinkling this spice mix generously or mildly on, of course, French fries. And finally, without forgetting, a touch of salt. Remember the fact that there's salt already in the recipe. One final toss, and with this, your peri peri French fries are done and ready. Though salt and potato is quite a classic, but we all love twists in our life, isn't it? This one is a peri peri twist. Do not forget to like and share the video, subscribe to Rajshri Food and enjoy peri peri French fries.
The magic of piping hot pakoras over a lazy afternoon tea cannot be described in words. And a little twist to the popular Indian snack can only double the magic. So, grab hold of the jar of cashew nuts as I take you through the recipe of cashew onion pakoda. I'm going to start with making the pakoda mix. So I have some gram flour over here, some rice flour. I'm going to use some methi leaves or fenugreek leaves. It's absolutely optional. So if you like a little bitter hint, you can add that. Just a little bit. Thinly sliced onions, cashew nuts, little bit of coriander and cumin seed powder, just a pinch of turmeric powder, raw mango or amchur powder, salt to taste, green chilies, some ginger paste and some garlic paste. I'm going to make the tadka for this. So heat some oil. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add some coriander seeds, fennel seeds and some ajwain seeds or carom seeds. Add some curry leaves. And add this into this mix. Stir everything in and also add very little water. And now I'm going to mix this with my hands. I don't think I need any more water, and this is how this mix is supposed to look. And now let's fry the pakoras. I'm just going to apply a little bit of oil onto my hand. Just take a portion of this mix, and now I'm going to drop small size pakoras in this hot oil. Reduce the flame after you add the pakoras in the oil and let them cook slowly. Once they're nice and golden brown, I'm going to get them out of the oil. This one's ready. Just tweaking a few ingredients here and there can add a different twist to your regular onion pakoras. So go ahead and make your tea time interesting. Subscribe to the channel, comment below. See you next time. Bye-bye. Paneer pakoras are the easiest when it comes to cooking something delicious and quick for your snack. The amazing taste and the softness of the paneer along with the flavors gives the best combo to your taste buds. So let's just start. I've cut the paneer in cubes and now I'm just going to slit it from the center and cut it into 2 slices like this. I'm going to use some coriander mint chutney, or you can use date and tamarind chutney or even garlic chutney, and all these chutneys are there on our channel so you can check it out. And then I'm going to apply a thin layer of the chutney in the center and sandwich the paneer. In this way, I'm going to make all the paneer sandwiches. The paneer slices are ready, and now I'm going to make the batter. For that I have some gram flour. I'm going to season it with salt, turmeric powder, just a little bit, red chili powder, coriander and cumin seed powder, coriander leaves, and now I'm going to add some water and make the batter, not a very thick batter. And this is the consistency of the batter that I need, a nice pouring consistency batter. The batter is ready and time to fry the paneer now. For that, I'm going to dip every paneer sandwich. Just dip a few pieces in the batter, coat it nicely with the batter. And now I'm going to fry these pieces. I have a pan over here in which I've heated some oil, and now I'm going to drop these paneer pieces. Just toss a little bit of oil on top and flip them over. Time to get these pakoras out. Drain the oil The Paneer Pakoras are ready. And I'm going to plate them in this nice bowl which has been gifted by my friend. And I'm also going to sprinkle them with a little bit of chaat masala to give it that added zing. Here you go. My yummy Paneer Pakoras are ready. Serve them hot with ketchup or chutney along with a cup of tea and enjoy your evening to the hill. Subscribe to Rajshri Food. Till then, bye-bye. Bread pakoda is perfect for those cold winter evenings when all you want to do is sip a cup of tea, spend time talking, reading, or just doing nothing. So let's welcome winters with a plate of crispy bread pakoras. For the filling, I'm going to heat some oil, just a little bit. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add some mustard seeds. When they splutter, add some curry leaves, just a little bit of hing or asafoetida, onions. Just cook the onions for 10 seconds. I want a little bit of the rawness. Add 200 grams of finely chopped paneer. And turn off the flame. Quickly remove the paneer filling in a bowl and cool it down. The paneer filling is cooled down and now I'm going to add all the seasoning ingredients. I have some finely chopped green chilies, just a dash of amchur or raw mango powder, some coriander and mint chutney, and some coriander leaves. Mix all these ingredients together. Very little salt because the chutney has some too. And this filling is ready. In another bowl, I'm going to make the gram flour batter. So some gram flour, some red chili powder, coriander and cumin seed powder, asafoetida or hing, pinch of soda bicarb, salt to taste, and some coriander leaves. Mix all these ingredients and make a pouring consistency batter. And this batter is ready. Take a few slices of bread. Spread the paneer filling on the bread slice. If you don't want to use paneer, you can always use some boiled potatoes instead, and everything else remains the same. Sandwich it. Keep it aside. Let's make another one. Let's cut this into triangles. One more. The triangles are ready and now I'm going to dip them in the gram flour batter and fry. Coat it properly. Let's get this one out. In this way, fry all your pakoras.